The order of business, I understand there's a change to the order of business.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, with regard item 5.3, which is the review regarding West Church, 14 Old Edinburgh Road, Dalkeith, that has been deferred a cycle in agreement with elected members. The purpose for that deferment is to enable a hearing to take place rather than written submissions. As a consequence, the site visit wasn't taken place this morning. That will take place prior to the next local review body. Following today's meeting, correspondence will be issued to all interested parties in the project, advising them of the change and the arrangements for their hearing. So if any of them wish to take part in that hearing, they can do so, but we shall follow up from today with that communication. So that will not be considered today, Chair.
Thank you for that. Could I suggest, could you please address the Chair in this meeting, just for the sake of introductions? This is Peter Armstrong, the Chief Planning Officer. As you have gathered, I'm the Chair of the meeting, Peter Smale, the Councillor for East, and these are the other councillors. I'll ask Peter Armstrong to respond.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just to advise the interested parties to the side, the microphone, when it's on, records, but it does not record people speaking from the side of the auditorium. So just for the record, just to advise, Chair, that a member of the public has basically asked why this application has been deferred, and has made the point that, in their opinion, that's not fair or appropriate in terms of the impact on their health. So just in response to that, first thing is, procedurally, it is within the discretion of the local review body to defer an application or a review if it wishes to do so. It has done it in this case. It's entitled to do it. The second thing is the change in procedure. Yes, you're correct. The applicant originally requested written submissions. They've asked the elected members if they could actually change that to a hearing. The elected members have agreed to that, which they're entitled to do. It's then been deferred because, I said earlier, those other interested parties, potentially including yourself, also have the opportunity to make representations at the appropriate time to this body. So that's why it's been deferred. I appreciate the sort of inconvenience, and the delay is obviously not what you wished, but that is the case, and the LRB are entitled to do it.
Could you please go through the Chair, and also as thank you, as am I, as identified by Peter Armstrong, it's helpful if you take a seat and press the microphone if it is the will of the meeting to hear further representations. You're obviously able at any time to place your comments on file on the notes relative to the application and to petition your councillors. So given that, although I'm personally happy for you to make a short statement, clearly if we have not fully prepared for this decision, it's very difficult for the councillors to go any further in this matter. If we're up to 5 minutes, you can make a statement, but we cannot proceed on the basis that the parties are not fully represented and the process is not complete. However disappointing, and I do understand that, however disappointing it may be to the interested parties involved in that application. Button at the foot of the device, and you'll be able to make a statement. Okay. Could I ask that you identify yourself and in what capacity you're making this short statement for the record?
My name is Williams. I'm a resident. I'm also an objector to the application. Just to follow what my fellow resident has already made, as far as we were concerned, there were periods in which we could A, object, B, other representations made, submissions, be they written or oral, made through the appropriate planning department. Now, earlier in the week, the report was issued and put online. As far as we were concerned, that was then the line in the sand for any further discussions. Now, we've complied with all that we've been advised according to the various regulations that we again have been advised, and we now find that, having turned up to the meeting today, that this has been deferred because something else has to be discussed by the committee. Now, I'm still at a loss to know how that is justified, bearing in mind we appear to have followed all the procedures and all the rules, and now this seems to have changed, and the communication hasn't been made to us to say that we were also entitled to make further representations. So perhaps you'd be kinder to explain to us all why and why the same process hasn't been applied throughout.
I'm very happy for that to be put on the record. Mr. Ansdorf has already explained the position of the planning system here. The councillors also were only made aware of the change of process this morning. And where there is evidence that is being still taken, I would have some difficulty in making any decision at this point. If the other councillors form a different view, I'd be interested to hear from them, but I think we need to move on and hear your objections at a properly constituted hearing with all the parties being able to make their case. Are the councillors content for this to be recorded and for the decision in this instance to be deferred to a later meeting? Councillor.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and I appreciate everyone's sentiment, of course, and the one thing I would say is that the system of this committee is that in the morning we make our visits to all of the planning applications, and we have to have visited them in order to make a decision. So just based on that, we aren't able to make a decision on it today. So I do apologise to everyone that's here, but it's just there's no way that this will be able to progress today.
I apologise for the disappointment, and I well recognise the local community councillor there. But I think we either have the councillors overturning and a very unusual procedure occurring at this committee, or we move on to other business. Councillor Alexander. I think we need to limit to one statement. The points have been well made. Councillor Alexander.
I was just going to second what Councillor McManus was saying, because we haven't visited the site, and at this moment I couldn't take a decision on. Because we have not visited the site, as we are bound to do, then we cannot make the decision today.
I need to bring this to a conclusion. I am sorry, but I don't believe it's appropriate for any further representations to be made. I'm acutely aware that you feel disappointed about the procedural aspects here. But as you can see, the councillors really have no alternative but to move on to other business and for this to be deferred. You're welcome to attend this meeting, but the councillors are solely responsible for the decisions in accordance with the Constitution under the standing orders of the local review body. You can, by all means, as you often do, make representations using the planning portal. I'm happy for that to be noted as a matter of fact. Thank you. Thank you for attending.